Welcome to Built Woodworks. I'm Dean Johnson from the public television series Hometime. We recently worked with them on one of our projects using pre-finished millwork and doors. So we got to learn a lot of what these guys can do. And believe me, with a facility covering 11 acres, they can do a lot.
Especially for pre-finishing and things like that, we've got to keep the dust off the products.
Well, this is John Beyer, and he's going to give us a tour of the place. But first, you want to kind of give us an idea of what you do here.
Sure. We are considered a value-add two-step distributor of millwork products.
Okay.
So casing, base, stair parts, and pre-hung doors is the bulk of what we do.
And you guys also do finish work, and that's why we're here. You're doing our millwork for us.
We do. Lots of different types of finishing, several different types of stain for raw wood, and then also several different types of paint.
Now, before you can actually go into the finishing, there's a little prep work to be done, right?
Absolutely. Most important part of finishing is prepping the product. If you don't have a good prepared surface, the finished quality isn't going to be what you expect either.
Here in your prep area, you have it divided into a few different areas, right?
We do. We do interior doors, exterior doors, moldings, and then stair components, all a little bit differently. Some of it's automated, some of it's by hand.
So in terms of prep, what exactly are you trying to accomplish at this stage?
With prep, we're trying to take out any defects, any handling marks, scuffs, mars, anything like that that might be on the product that maybe not be terribly apparent in the raw state, but as soon as you put a finish on it, it's going to stand out. We're going to sand it and scuff everything. Everything that's going to be stained or painted, regardless of process, is always going to be scuffed so that it can better accept the paint or the stain that it's going to be put on.
Now you guys work with both raw wood and primed materials.
We do. If the product is already pre-primed from the manufacturer, then all we're doing is putting a paint coat on it. We'll also do priming and painting or just staining for raw wood.
Now I see you have a couple machines that handle some automated work for you.
The profile sander is for moldings, and that's basically a wheel with brush and sandpaper on it to get into the contours of the molding.
Okay.
The larger machines are for doors, the wide surface area. We're trying to get rid of cross-grain scratching, so it's very similar brushes on wheels, just on a larger scale, and in a random orbit type of a motion to take out the cross-grain.
So it sounds like most of your large stock goes through the machines, but then you still have quite a bit of hand sanding going on, right?
Yes, everything is inspected, and so sometimes the things the machines can't take out is going to have to be taken out by humans. Also, smaller pieces, blocks, stair turnings, things like that are all going to be done by hand.
So once all the prep work's done, then we're off to paint, right?
We are, off to the paint line.
Now I see you have your finish area divided into a couple different stations too.
Yep, depending on what type of finish you choose, if you're using stain or a paint, we have our water-based stain line behind here, and then also the paint line over here.
So what's the process for putting on paint?
So for putting on paint, we're using a waterborne UV product, so it's put onto a flat belt and goes through a spray booth. So there's 8 spray heads on a carriage that go back and forth and apply the product. After that, it goes into a warm air oven to get rid of the water, and then finally comes under some UV light bulbs that actually cure the product. And at the point that they pass through those UV bulbs, it's 98% cured and very hard, very dry, and ready to ship.
So how long is the process from start to finish?
So for actually applying the paint start to finish, at the time they put it on the belt is about 30 minutes to get through the spray booth, the oven, and then finally come out onto the UV bulbs.
Now with a water-based paint, you have very low VOCs, right?
Right, very clean product, waterborne UV product. There isn't any solvents in it, so the only thing going out into the atmosphere, out the stacks, is water vapor.
Now you also recover a lot of the overspray, right?
That's correct. The booth has a recovery system built in, so any overspray that gets onto the belt is squeegeed off and can be mixed with new material and sprayed again. So the only real waste is what gets into the filters and the cleanup at the end of the day.
Now for applying stain, it's pretty much the same, right?
Very similar process, goes through a booth, the same type of booth for the application of the stain. The difference is then the stain gets 2 coats of clear over the top of it.
Now you guys have quite a few pre-mixed colors to choose from, but you also can basically custom match any color, right?
That's right. We actually, our most popular color is custom color.
Of course.
So whether it be a stain on an easy to stain species like oak, or something that's a little more difficult to stain like a maple or a poplar, we have 2 different stain processes for that. So we'll do customs in those. Paint, we'll do a custom paint. Stained fiberglass, we're working on some stained fiberglass right back here. We can do a custom color for that as well.
I'm just curious why your coat's so messy.
Because I'm the hardest worker in the kitchen.
Well, it must be nice to be able to do this finishing in such a controlled setting.
Yep, that's definitely one of the advantages to pre-finishing with us. A facility like this, you have good lighting, so you can pick up on scratches, mars, anything like that that maybe you might miss in a job site setting. And then also dust, you're free from the hazards of contamination from dust. Weather, exactly. And when you get the product delivered to you, it's ready to install.
Exactly.
That place a little bigger than I thought it was going to be.
It hasn't always been this big. We've been fortunate enough to be able to grow over the years and expand the business.
Well, Steve, we are just about ready for doors out the site, and I got to tell you, looking here, I don't think you're at any lack for doors by any means.
No, we got a few slabs on the floor. So what you're seeing behind us over here is our interior door picking equipment. So once the customer has given their information on what type of doors and product that they're going to have in their home, that lumberyard will feed us the order, and our customer service keys it in, and that's the paperwork actually sends all of that information to these pieces of equipment. It picks the order and places it on a pallet and gets it ready to go to production.
So that little pile over there is probably an order for one customer's house.
Yep, that'll be a house job that'll either go out to pre-finish or go down to production to get assembled into a pre-hung unit and then shipped to the job site.
So talk a little bit about pre-finish. What happens in that area?
That's where we're actually going to be applying stain and paint to the door. So anything that goes over there is going to be sanded first, and then it'll go to one of 3 or 4 different departments depending on what kind of stain or paint you're putting on your product.
Now the doors we're using are clear coated. We aren't staining these. This is an exotic hardwood called sapele. It's very much like mahogany, comes from Africa. It has kind of this ribbon effect running through the grain. I think they're going to be a really nice contrast to all the white millwork we have in the house. Now these are made with the rail-in style type of construction, very well built, 1 3/4 inches. So I mean, you really feel the weight of this door, especially on the 8-footers. When you open that up, they're going to feel like a substantial piece of goods. Now, we saw the millwork get finished. Is the door basically the same process?
Yep, so the doors are going to go through an automated process just like the moldings were that you saw. They're going to go through, they're going to get sprayed, go through a series of ovens, come back, and they'll get actually 2 coats of finish on them.
Now, you also have a premium stain line.
Yep, we have a premium process which is a little bit different than our standard and our ultra finishes, which run on the flat line, the more automated equipment. Our premium process is actually going to be more hand applied. It's going to have a variety of steps that we're going to take to get to that desired finish on some of those harder to stain species, mahoganies and cherries and some of that stuff that takes stain a little bit differently than your oaks or the like.
Oh, it is just fascinating watching these lines operate. So once you're done with finishing, what happens over here on this line?
So this is our pre-hanging facility where all the doors are going to come back and get married up with the jambs that have been pulled. So they're going to go into the first stage where the slab and the hinge jamb is actually going to get machined for hinges. The hinges will be applied, and it's also going to machine the door slab for the knob set and the bore prep.
Well, in mortising, they used to do that out on the job site. It must have taken hours.
Yeah, so with the automated equipment, it really streamlines the process. With the CNC machining, it gets in there and does all that hand-applied work mechanically.
Yeah, it's about a 90-second job.
Yep, so now at the second station, the door slab and the hinge jamb that are now connected to one another are going to drop down. The header jamb will go on and the other side jamb. Those will all get stapled into a pre-hung unit.
I mean, it's ready then for to head out to the job site.
Ready to go down, get packaged up, and get put on a cart like you're seeing here behind you.
Now this area is totally mechanized. You also have another area that's a little bit more custom, right?
Yep, a little less automated, a little more specialized, so we'll go check that out.
Okay. So what makes this such a specialized area here?
So anytime a customer specifies a certain type of specification for a lock or a latch set, that's where the specialized machining is going to get done in this facility.
And this area is a small percentage of the doors you guys actually run.
Yep, there's not a lot of product that comes over here for the specialized hardware. More commercial work is run through this facility, but your doors, different type of hardware, hinges, we wanted to machine that over here to make sure it's exact.
So with everything bored here, we can take a look at the door hardware we're going to be using. Now this is brushed nickel, and you can see, I mean, this isn't your typical looking passage set, but it's going to fit just perfectly. That's going to look gorgeous when it's all done. Let's take a look at the hinges here. Mind if I spin this real quick? So these are ball bearing hinges. We're going to be using 4 of these. Again, very heavy duty, square, which is a little out of the ordinary, but they'll fit on like so. Again, it's a perfect fit. It's going to look nice when it's all done. This back.
When you're choosing doors for your home, the handing is actually what way the door is going to swing into the room. So wherever the hinges are going to be, which jamb the hinges are going to be on, you're going to want to put your back up to that side. Then whichever hand opens into the room is how you would hand the door.
I know Rick and I spent a lot of time putting together a list of, exactly what we need. And I mean, the whole point is you make a couple mistakes and you have 2 doors you can't use in the house. That's a lot of dollars just going up in smoke.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure you got your handing right.
Yeah, no kidding. So Steve, I think many times when lumberyards order product, it takes weeks if they're ordering like specialty items or special colors. How do you guys handle it at Buyer Built to kind of get that product out faster to people?
One of Buyer Built's primary focuses that we strive for every day is to have your product delivered to you on the next truck. So in addition to Buyer Built, we also have a trucking company that hauls all of our product out to the lumberyard to make sure that we are getting there on time and making sure that their product is on their dock when they need it. Being that we operate in an 8-state area supplying about 850 plus lumberyards, when those orders are brought into our customer service team, we process those orders oftentimes that very same day.
And I would imagine inventory plays a part in this whole thing.
Yep, so in order for us to get those parts and pieces and products out to the local lumberyards, it is necessary that we carry a lot of volume. We've got a lot of product here on the floor, and yeah, we maintain about a 98% fill rate.
Now you guys do a lot more than just inventory parts and then reship those out to lumberyards.
True, we actually offer pre-hanging services of both interior and exterior doors, as well as do pre-finishing, stain, paint, custom machining to any one product that you may get from us.
So if a consumer's interested in using your products, how do they go about finding you?
We would suggest they go to buyerbuilt.com, and in the upper right-hand corner we have a little spot called Dealer Locator, and they can punch in their zip code and find a dealer nearest them.
It all adds up to a wide range of quality products and excellent customer service. We're proud to have used Buyer Built on our project, and you will be too.